So, this is three mistakes that people make that crush their happiness or ability to feel good. These aren't necessarily the biggest ones that you could possibly come up with, but they're a good starting place. And ultimately, I'd like to make a series of these because there's a lot of things that people do all the time that really put a damper on their ability to feel good, and they don't necessarily know they're doing it. So, we'll start with this. This will be part one. And the first one we'll start with is they focus on problems and not solutions. And so, of course, it's important to figure out what the problem is, to define it, to clearly understand it. Then once you do that, you need to put it aside in your mind and start working on finding solutions. And solutions, looking for them or waiting for your brain to kind of come up with them, is a different thing than staring at the problem, constantly thinking about the problem, complaining about the problem, constantly having your mind on the problem. Your mind is a great tool for figuring out how to make things better, but that's searching for the solution. It's not putting all your attention on the problem. If you stare at the problem, what you're going to tend to get is more problems, more of that problem, because your brilliant, powerful brain is going to keep going over it and going over it and going over it. And then pretty soon, that's what you have, is you just have more problems. Now, if you get your mind on solutions, and stop focusing on the problem, it has a chance to show you the solutions. Even if you just calm down and do something else for a while, let your mind work on it or go to sleep for a while, you might be surprised what you come up with at the end of that kind of respite from thinking about the problem. So if you can focus on the solution, after time or over time, it will start to come up with solutions for you that are useful rather than staring at the problem. So that's the first one we'll talk about, and obviously that's a big thing. But you do, of course, need to clarify the problem first, and then start looking for the solution, and then put all your attention and time on finding the solution. So number two, and this one is something that's, easy to see when you step back, but in the middle of it, you think it's good to do without because you'll have more time. But this is, people don't prioritize sleep. They don't get sleep, or they think it's a waste of time. And a lot of that is because they don't understand what happens during sleep. It's an extremely productive time for your body, for your brain, for healing, for recovery, for part of your brain to work that can help you find solutions or that can help you go where you want to go. If you don't get enough sleep, everything is breaking down over time because your body, your mind, your ability to process memories and store them, all of that happens while you're sleeping, plus many, many other things. So it isn't a strength to get rid of sleep all the time. Now, there might be time to do it, and certainly there is when you're trying to get something big done. But make no mistakes, you're kind of stealing from tomorrow for today. You're stealing from your health to get something done right now. And like I said, there's a time for it, and certainly I've done it. But try to, learn from me and some of my other clients. Everyone who thinks they can go without sleep for a long period of time, it eventually catches up with them and they crash pretty hard. So you want to prioritize it. You want to get good at it. You want to get the biggest bang for your buck while you're asleep. So you want to try to be able to sleep quickly and deeply and get the most out of it. And later on, we can talk more about how to do that. I have some great methods that have helped me a lot, or we can talk about supplements that help, or the combination, little things like that. But sleep is really a big deal, and you can get so good at it that you can kind of minimize what you might need now, but don't try to get rid of it. Try to remember and tell yourself that it's a natural, normal, helpful thing that will help you get the most out of life. So sleep is really important. And number three on our list for today is people believe what they think all the time. And your mind is constantly thinking. It's just throwing thoughts at you all the time. And a lot of them aren't true. A lot of them are things that other people told you. A lot of them were things that were true when you're 12, but now you're 26 or 96, and you still believe it to be true, but it's in your way. And so one of the things you can work on is the ability to let go of believing what you think. Sometimes it's just stuff your mind is throwing at you. It has no value, it has no meaning. It's just stuff that comes up into your attention or your field of attention, and you don't have to believe it. You can just watch it go by. And maybe it's a thought like, I'm a loser. I'm not good at math. I'm not good with learning new things. I'm bad at tests. I'm ugly. I'm not good looking. I can't accomplish what I want. People like me can't do this. My parents always told me that the world is against me. Just things like that are often unexamined and you kind of believe them as they go by. And one practice you can have is just to kind of watch your thoughts or even write them down and say, is this even true? Is this really true? What can I compare it against? Because it might not be true at all. Now, it might be, and it's worth sitting down and thinking about it. But most of the time, at least my experience of it for myself or with when I talk to my clients or different people, is that people don't even really know what they're thinking about. It's going so fast. It's so routine. It's the same thoughts over time. It's like 80% of what they're thinking about is what they've been thinking for 30 or 40 years, and it's not challenged or examined. And so people spend a lot of time believing what their mind tells them, and that often causes them a lot of pain. One of the best things about my job is that I'm talking to people often when I'm, say, working on their back, and I can see the connection between their body and what they think and what they feel. And they have a thought about something and their whole body goes rigid. And if you think about that over time, why is their body so rigid? What's going to happen if they keep continuing that thought over and over? It's not so good for your health either for some of those things. You can also see things that really calm their body down and kind of help it do better. And if you can encourage those thoughts, then it can help your health over time. So it's really important to question what you're thinking. And you don't have to do it hardcore. You can just kind of let it go and just watch those thoughts float by your attention and just let them go out the other side. You don't have to believe them. You don't have to become emotional about them. And you can practice just sort of letting them go through your mind. It's a cool way of dealing with your own inner world that can change all kinds of things and really help your ability to feel happy, to learn to feel good. And feeling good is about more than just happiness. We tend to use it that way, but what you really want is an overall experience of different kinds of positive emotional affect with the right amount of negative emotional affect. So the negative emotions and things like that, they're not bad. You just want them in the proper proportion so that you can experience your life. If you feel negative all the time, you're not going to have a good experience. But too much positivity is kind of an odd thing for you as well. And one way to kind of think about that is try to write an entertaining story where there's no drama, where there's no thing to overcome, where there's no thing that you want to accomplish or something that creates satisfaction. Even in music, you're putting in some dissonance so that you can resolve it into something that's pleasing. But there's a right amount to that. And a lot of people have way too much dissonance to enjoy what's going on, or too much negative emotional affect, or they just feel bad, or their health is bad, or lots of other things. And ultimately, we're trying to create some tools so that we can start to feel better. And none of this is 100% or not. There are, of course, times to think about problems. There's times to go without sleep. There's times to really believe what you're thinking, to really look at it and say, I'm pretty sure that's true. I'm really good at this, or I kind of suck at this. I want to get better at this. And so you can look at it and say, I do believe that, and here's what I can do to make it better for myself. Because your mind is one of the things it does is it's a problem. It's a seeking solutions for problems, and you want to believe some of that. But a lot of what people think is unquestioned, unexamined, and so they believe it, and it causes them pain, emotional pain, or often physical pain, or inability to sleep. And all these things kind of connect down the road. So I think those three are a really good place to start, and I'll probably do a whole series of these. I can come up with a bunch of these over time. We can talk about solutions as we go as well. So these were 3 mistakes that people make that kind of crush their happiness or ability to feel good. Follow for more tips to feel better and for more tools to feel better as well. And we'll see you next time.